Nice.
At our school,
Very
yeah.
nice. That's cool.
I'm Max,
And I'm Izzie.
Hi, Izzie.
and we're with the Santa Barbara Middle School Team Press. And tonight we're here with.
Paul Austerberry, production designer for The Shape of Water.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
And in an interview, you said that you found a picture of a sanatorium in France that you wanted to use to create a lab, and that Guillermo had a picture from India of an old woman in a water-damaged room that he wanted to use to create Eliza's room. How did you find your picture, and how many did you look at before you decided that was the one to use?
Well, you know, these days with the internet, it's fairly easy to look through lots of images. Usually, you used to have to pull through lots of books, and I have a really big library of images. And I have a big library of abandoned building books, which are quite popular today. And one of them had this French sanatorium in it. And what I pulled from that was it was an interesting room with tiles. Guillermo had always mentioned that he wanted a strong tile element in this lab, and it had these double arches. I'm an architect by training, so I was interested in these things. It had these double arches that even though they were round in that picture, we kept that double arch theme for the rest of the lab design. And then Guillermo gave it, Eliza's character, her apartment. She was poor really, so she didn't have any art on the walls. But he wanted the wall itself to be like art. So he found this image with a really interesting, it's like a textured wall like this, but in a really vibrant blue, and with crumbling a little bit and whatnot. So he said, think about that, and let's see what we can do as this wall. And so I thought about it for a while, and I thought, we could just invent any shapes where the plaster cracks are, but let's try to set this with an image. So I thought about famous shapes of water in art, and the one I picked was this Hokusai's Great Wave. It's a Japanese block print of a really great wave crashing with a boat coming down and Mount Fuji in the background. If you see the picture, it's actually, you've probably seen it before. I even have it on a t-shirt. And so I took that image and I projected it on this wall, and I had the scenic artist paint in plaster, in three-dimensional plaster, this whole crashing wave, like crashing over the top of the entry door. And then we painted it all back with aging, and so it really was just this blue, old, rugged blue wall, like the reference that Guillermo pulled, but it was actually had more meaning, because I wanted the image of this wave coming over the door, so anyone entering this room, her special room, her aquatic room, looked like they were about to be engulfed subtly by this wave. But if you know where to look, it was there, but it was kind of a very, very subliminal kind of thing.
So aside from the color chips you had decided on the Guillermo, what other major elements went into shaping the look of the lab, and how did you decide how to balance the influences?
Well, the important thing about the lab was we wanted the romantic sort of soft lines of her apartment, there was from like the 1890s, and we wanted to contrast that with something from, at the time, the current architecture, which was I chose this brutalist concrete architecture, which is quite harsh, very sharp lines and very hard materials with not much color. The color was just that teal blue in the tiles. And it was quite a conscious decision. We wanted to have the romantic, it's a love story, first and foremost, this fairy tale love story. And we wanted the area where she brought the creature home with sort of more romantic feeling place, old world kind of place, old world like the old theater that they were in. And then I wanted to contrast that with the really harsh lines and very hard surfaces, oppressive kind of feeling lab.
Well, thank you for your time.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Nice chatting to you guys. Good luck with your stories.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Bye.